What's going on, you guys? Back with another video, and this is one I think you guys are going to enjoy. That is, as long as you guys have a total gym or some other sliding bench trainer, maybe like a Great Flex, that allows the capability to attach the Pilates bar attachment. Those of you guys that watch this channel and watch different workouts and exercises that I put together know that I definitely use this attachment. It's one of my favorite ones to kind of incorporate in a variety of workouts. And a viewer the other day just left a great comment, just simply requesting that I put together a video compiling a bunch of different Pilates bar exercises that can be done. So I put together roughly about 21 exercises, and this is not an exhaustive list. I'm sure you guys can come up with some other ones. Some of these other movement patterns could probably be, changed up a little bit, but these are 21, in my opinion, distinct different exercises. Some of these are brand new, so you're also getting some new exercises here in this video. Some I just kind of figured out for the first time that I didn't realize you could do. And of course, if you guys know some other exercises out there that you guys like, definitely leave a comment down below. If you guys do not have a Pilates bar attachment, I will put a link down in the description box if you guys want to check it out and or support the channel. All right, we'll start with upper body exercises, and we'll start with the one that I probably use the most often. That's just this kind, I would call it a seated or kneeling chest press. Doing a simple chest press this way, and if you wanted to, you can even kind of turn it into like a chest, almost into a shoulder press. So that's an option. You've also maybe even seen me incorporate the weight bar attachment, or if you got any other kind of bar, this would also work doing a press. In fact, I've never even tried this, but I just did a review on this bar. This would actually work out even better using this new Instar bar attachment. It actually has some grips on it, so that'd actually be pretty good. And I can link this down below as well. The next one is just another basic exercise. This is the first thing I think I tried when I first put this bar on. Just a inverted shoulder press, but with a close grip. This allows you with this Pilates bar to really get your head through this little opening here. So again, just a basic close grip press, working your shoulders or deltoids, and also since it's a close grip, you're working a little more your triceps as well. Third upper body exercise. This could be done, keep in mind, on different incline settings, but holding up a little bit higher, even narrower, it's kind of up to you. If I'm down here, I like to kind of scoot my head a little further past this little opening. But if you got bad shoulders, you could certainly kind of scoot back. That's the beauty of using this machine and this attachment. But just a shoulder press like this, and that feels pretty good. All right, this next one I was kind of debating about even throwing it in there, but it's an active push with a pull. So it's kind of like exercise one, but as I come back out, I'm gonna actually pull myself back down. Looks something like this. Pretty tough, so you have to kind of do it to really appreciate that one. All right, now this next one, really just maximizing the capabilities and the design of this machine. Just an isolated single arm press, and this allows you to kind of get some different angles. It just increases the difficulty in different angles. It can even allow some flexibility if you have some issues with your shoulder, but I kind of really scoot myself past the machine. You got to be careful if you got a big head like me, getting yourself through this, but just an isolated press right through. And again, I'm going nice and slow, which is really all you have to do for this exercise. But I could press from here, or I could press from here, or even there if I wanted to. All right, this next one kind of has two different versions. You can kind of go off the machine or you can go on the machine, but simply just getting yourself almost in a plank position or push-up position and just using the bar as a push-up device, more like a close grip push-up. I wasn't thinking about this, but you can also go on your knees as a progression for some people or different ages and abilities. But I can just go here and more like a close grip push-up. I can also go on the machine, and bear in mind, this will change depending on the incline and on both sides that you're kind of considering this exercise, but going right here into a push-up. They're both a little bit different, have their own little challenge to it. The only thing, and I'll say this now, I'll probably say it again for another exercise, always be mindful that you got forward pressure. This thing likes to kind of slip out. I'm always kind of careful. Someone told me this once, and it's always in the back of my head. I don't know if it's true or not. Someone said that this metal piece has broken off on them. I can't really see that happening. If no one ever said that, I probably would never think about it. But whenever I'm putting a lot of pressure like this and I'm kind of vulnerable, I'm kind of always thinking about that comment in my head about watching out if this thing ever did kind of break forward. This is one, believe it or not, I never thought of, and a lot of you guys like doing dips. I'm not a huge dip person, but this actually works out pretty well. You can use a bench. You don't necessarily need a bench, and bear in mind, again, the incline setting is gonna make a difference in how this works for you. But I just got my feet up on the bench or on something and just doing simply a dip. All right, pretty difficult. If your shoulders can handle it, it works great, but I know a lot of you guys do dips in general. So good dip option for you guys. All right, going into the legs, this is intuitively to me the first exercise I jumped to or gravitated towards when I got this attachment. You can simply, because having this toe grip allows you to kind of grip the bar a little bit easier than with the squat stand. Although you certainly could do it in the squat stand, but just simple bridging on the machine. And I'll count this kind of as one exercise, but you guys have seen me do like a bridge into a press. This is something else that's a great exercise. You could go single leg, you can go on the top, you can go through the machine if you wanted to. Okay, another great one is just utilizing the support of this bar and just doing a basic lunge. A secondary exercise that kind of I think has two parts to it, I'm counting this as kind of something different, is a lunge and kind of a kickback. This is something I love to do. You can get really high, you can forcefully push off if you want to, or again, this is another variation of it. You can simply get in this position with your foot more on the inside of the glide board and then just do some hip extensions with your leg. And believe it or not, this honestly, at least to me, feels pretty tough and isolating the glutes. I've even tried attaching a small band to this, and you can attach it to your ankle. You can also put it to the bottom of your feet and do kind of little kickbacks as well. So all right, this is one I've shown the channel a number of times. It's a really great exercise, one of my favorites for isolating the glutes, hamstrings. Just a unique leg exercise that maximizes the total gym's capability and versatility, and utilizing the weight bar attachment, a pair of resistance bands or a set of some loop style resistance bands, and the Pilates bar attachment. You can use the squat stand, but this just gives you a little more control over just holding yourself in place. For sure, maybe a little risky for some people. I'm not saying everybody should try this. I feel comfortable. As always, you try this stuff at your own risk. How I set up onto it, I just sit in my butt and just kind of pull myself forward. I rest my chest on top, so I'm pretty secure here. I just grab onto the Pilates bar, and then I'm just gonna drive my feet out. That was actually a little tough with the band setting I had on there, but you can make that as easy or as hard as you want to. This one could seem kind of easy, but I know there's a lot of people out there, regardless of how old or young you are, that either are just trying to work on just squatting again, or they're trying to maybe work into like a deep squat or getting their hips below their knees. And so my point is just using this Pilates bar attachment as like kind of some assistance, as like a guide to practice getting low into a deep squat. If you can get about here, you can use this as a brace. If you get really low, you can kind of rock and pull yourself up. The beauty is you can turn this around and progress yourself down utilizing the incline of the glide board. So even something like this is already pretty low. I could simply do what would be kind of like a box squat and just kind of raise up this way. I've even shown it before where I've attached some bands to my hip and done it with some resistance on my feet. So there's actually a way you can actually increase the resistance with this exercise as well. All right, and then kind of to wrap up legs, I thought I'd just show you guys something else where this bar really shines in the leg department, and that's with calf raises. I made a whole video that was just dedicated to training calves in the Total Gym, and that primarily just utilized this Pilates bar attachment. So I won't show it now, but there's a number of ways you can put resistance on it by putting a weight bar attachment, looping the bands around, putting it on here and holding it. But having this Pilates bar here is perfect for doing a variety of different positions, working your calves. Obviously I can go single leg, double legs like you saw there. I can get different angles. I can be going on my back with resistance or without resistance. Obviously I can increase the incline. You can go face down, even in like a plank position, and do it this way, again, with or without resistance. All right, getting into some core exercises here. Just like with those push-ups I showed you on both sides, you could simply just hold a plank position on this side and the other side. Also as well, just kind of incorporate some mountain climbers. So the main thing is just that your chest is right on top of your hands. You're not having like your shoulders on top of your wrists, but just kind of like this. And I can do simple mountain climbers. I could hold this position, but I think mountain climbers are pretty good. And definitely as you get up here, this is just something else. Okay, so I could do mountain climbers just like this. I can incorporate another exercise, which I was gonna show you guys, a pike. You could even pike into a push-up. Something already kind of similar to this. I could have lumped this two together, but I thought it was a little bit different and unique. It deserved its own little exercise. And a lot of different people and abilities could also handle this one as well. Also maximizes the Pilates bar. So I got my toes on the bar, my balls and my feet on the bar. Gonna first get myself, extend my hips. I'm gonna get in this position. Now this alone is a nice position just to kind of hold. Again, if you get kind of lower back pain, wanna strengthen the lower back and the glutes, this little raise right here would be beneficial for a number of people, myself included, especially if you're sitting in a chair all day. So this alone is pretty good, but then we're just gonna add something else into this. Having this Pilates bar, we can get a nice firm grip. I can simply just, do like a reverse mountain climber, just very slowly, very much controlled. And again, I think this is a great exercise. If you want some kind of low impact, I probably should make a whole low impact workout to do, because there's a lot of things that can get you pretty tired that are not very fast and would seem kind of easy. Before I show you guys this next exercise, one thing I'm just gonna tell you to be careful of. This is one of many bloopers I could show you. If I had storage space, I would save it, and you guys could see some funny stuff that I've tried and attempted and failed at. But one thing you gotta be careful of, because when I first got this, I started doing some things where I'm holding myself up like this, doing some toe touches, kind of touching and coming back here. But what you have to be careful, I wouldn't even recommend that because, and you guys know I try a lot of daring things, but this is something I really am careful about, is that even a little bit of slight upward pressure this way, this thing will come up and you'll just go flying. All right, so it would be cool if there was like pins in there to keep it in, but there's not. So this next exercise, the point of saying that is kind of be careful, but you should be okay. Just gonna lock your elbows out, and you can go however position you want, whatever position you want to as far as where your hands are concerned, but just a lower leg raise in an inverted position. Now, why this is a cool exercise is because most people, and if you have lower back pain doing this flat on the ground, you could try this. Try it on here, then try it on the ground. You'll notice you can still work your abdominals, but it's a lot less tension on your lower back being at this incline. So that's a cool thing. I mean, there's a lot of different variations, obviously, that you could do. You could do flutter kicks even from here. And again, you're getting kind of like a win-win with just working your shoulders and your triceps isometrically holding that position, as long as that inverted decline doesn't bother you too much. All right, next, another one you kind of got to be careful with. You could do this another variety of ways going off the machine, but I'm going to show you on the machine. Basically a side plank from this position. Again, probably really careful. Of all the things I'm showing you, this might be one of the more dangerous ones. You probably could even go, even doing something like this would be kind of useful. I just thought of this right now, like a push up and kind of a side crunch from one side, but that's a little cumbersome to be honest. But side plank here, this is pretty tough. I was even trying some things where I was very slowly doing a lateral crunch at my spine, and that was pretty tough. But you don't have to go on the glide board. That's a little dangerous. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, you could go off the machine as well. All right, this next one is kind of like an abdominal rollout. You are working your shoulders in a sense, but really what you're gonna be trying to work on and focus on is your abdominals. So you gotta fine tune it to where it works for you. If I'm going here, I won't be able to get as far back. I'll bottom out the machine. If I go too far back, I don't get as much glide as well. So I wanna get about midway on the glide board, sorry. All right, and then I'm just gonna grab firm hold it here, lock my elbows out, and I'm just gonna drive my hips back. You can pause for a bit here if you want to. You'll see me kind of shaking. But basically, I'm just kind of like I'm throwing my body weight out, trying to hold it and come back in. And what you should really be focusing in on, it's hard for me to even talk, is your core or your rectus abdominis, your obliques, or I'm sorry, your abdominals, just kind of bracing in that position. Great exercise. It's one I kind of recently figured out with, and it's a nice one that I think all ages could probably at least maybe attempt a little bit, especially when you consider the various inclines you guys can set it to. All right, this next one people may or may not like. I personally like it. I kind of recently discovered it. It kind of does a number of things. There's a number of different things you can do when you're in this position. Basically, it's going to be a bridge, which is why I'm kind of counting in the core exercises, really working on that lower back and glutes. If you got lower back pain and stuff like that, definitely strengthening the lower back is going to help. So not just this kind of bridge, but any kind of bridge where you can kind of hold it is going to be beneficial. Certainly could do something like this on a bench, but utilizing this Pilates bar attachment offers some interesting things you can do and isn't as, I would say, even though it's kind of has a curl to it, a flat bench you wouldn't be as flexible as I'm about to do. So I'm gonna brace myself close to the Pilates bar, just gonna get myself into a bridge position. Now I simply could just hold this, and I'm at a nice kind of high angle. If I was on a bench, I would kind of be at a lower position but being this high, and if I were just to hold this 30 seconds to a minute, you know, really works my lower back and definitely my glutes as long as my hips are up high. Now your neck might get a little fatigued. What I would just do is take my hands, put them behind my neck and just relax here. But I kind of like, now some people may or may not like this, but I kind of like the way this pressure is kind of pushing against my back. I kind of like the way it feels, almost like a little massage. I can even work my way back here a little bit, maybe like right here, and I can kind of come back here and just relax. So that feels pretty good. Just stretching out my spine, just hanging out here for a second. I'm still, again, kind of cueing my hips. You could do reps here. You don't have to go as far back in different directions. Just something different and unique. Feel free to try that one out, but I liked it enough to throw it in here. And then something else I just forgot to mention, I had to come back down and re-record it. I was gonna show you guys a back extension that you guys could do. And I actually kind of originally double banded it, but I'm just gonna use one band for right now. But even aside from this specific exercise, just making use of this middle part of the Pilates bar, it's great that you can kind of attach some things up here if you wanted to. But you know, bear in mind, like I said earlier, this thing can kind of fly up. So making sure you're giving a lot of counter pressure so that you're not pulling this thing off the bottom of the base. But I just kind of wrap it around here and just doing a nice back extension here. I originally double banded this with 2 heavy bands and basically did about 20 repetitions. And it really, you know, in my opinion, kind of not taxed my lower back, but definitely worked my spinal erectors. So that's another option for something you could do in your total gym. It's pretty low intensity, not gonna really, it shouldn't stress you too much. There is a way of doing something like this on an incline with the cables, but this actually I think feels better in my opinion. All right guys, so that is it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I'm sure there's some things or exercises I might have kind of slipped my brain or some stuff that you guys know about, so that's where you guys come in. Definitely in the comment section, please let me know any questions, comments, feedback, but most certainly if there's some other exercise that you liked that I forgot to include, definitely describe it as best as you can down below. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.